Hey everyone, this is Karzai with the Karzai Real Estate Group. I hope you're doing good. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about buyer contingencies, okay, and how they work in a real estate contract or a real estate transaction. So buyer contingencies, all right, in general, for most transactions, there's going to be three buyer contingencies, okay? Those are what we call the inspection contingency, the appraisal contingency, and the loan contingency, okay? So the inspection contingency, all right, here's how that works, all right? The inspection contingency is where the buyer basically asks the seller, hey, give me X amount of days, okay, in the escrow period to review all the reports, review all the disclosures. If seller has inspections, review the inspections and make sure that I am comfortable with all of the disclosures and reports and I am comfortable with the condition of the house and I want to move forward, okay? If seller doesn't have inspections, then the buyer can do their own inspections and make sure they're comfortable with everything, okay? If they are, buyer at that point removes the contingency in writing, okay? None of these contingencies are removed automatically. They have to be removed in writing by the buyer, okay? And if the buyer is not comfortable with something in the reports or the condition, the inspection contingency, then at that point, if the buyer doesn't want to move forward, it gives them the right to cancel the contract, walk away, and not lose their deposit, okay? Now, one thing to remember, if the buyer removes the inspection contingency and then later on comes back and says, you know, I don't want to move forward because I'm not comfortable with something in the reports or the condition, whatever, I don't like the location, it's too late, okay? Once you remove the inspection contingency, you cannot back out because of, you know, anything like what I just said, anything in the reports or something about, you know, something you don't like about the property, okay? It's too late. The second contingency, the appraisal contingency, all right? So the appraisal contingency basically just protects the buyer in the event that the appraisal comes in lower than the contract price. For example, let's say the contract price between buyer and seller is $1 million. Well, if the appraisal comes in at a value of $980,000, there's a $20,000 difference, okay? So the buyer at that point with an appraisal contingency can go back to the seller and see if they're willing to take $980 instead of $1 million, or split the difference and take $990, okay, and the buyer comes out of pocket $10,000. The seller's not obligated to take less than $1 million, okay, even if the buyer asks. And if they cannot come to an agreement, then it's up to the buyer. If they still want to move forward and pay the $1 million, they would have to come out of pocket the extra $20,000 to move forward. If they don't, the appraisal contingency allows them to cancel the contract, walk away, not lose their deposit, okay? All right, loan contingency. The loan contingency, you know, basically the buyer, you know, asks the seller, give me X number of days to, you know, basically finalize the details on my loan, get final approval. And then at that point, remove the loan contingency in writing. So at that point where the buyer removes all contingencies, okay? At that point, they have to move forward and close the transaction, close escrow, okay? If after removing all contingencies, the buyer, you know, either, you know, because they've changed their mind or something happens, you know, unforeseen and they cannot close escrow, well, at that point, they are in risk of losing their deposit, okay? And the deposit in general in this market is 3%. So if the contract price is $1 million, that's $30,000. Okay, so the contingencies are very important in a real estate transaction, okay, strategically. So I hope you found that information useful regarding buyer contingencies. If you have any questions, please reach out to me anytime. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you found that info useful. This is Karzai with the Karzai Real Estate Group. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a great day.